people that come up the hard way and have to do things the hard way is a great success story from our standpoint, and everybody's standpoint. Whenever it doesn't matter if they're remembering Allen or not, when they come out the hard way and they're successful, it is a very huge rewarding experience for sure for them, and it's fun for us to watch.
Such a phenomenal program. I had a blast being in it for 2 years.
It gives you a huge spotlight. The help that they give you with the mental coaching, the physical coaching.
Really kind of threw it in over here to push me to get out of my comfort zone and race super late models.
It really does help shape who you are when you're a young man trying to figure out who you are, what the right things to do in just the community are, and it helps push you towards that.
I think it's just a great tribute to Allen and what he did for racing in general, and what he did for my career. And
it was all around. It was just a great experience for any young driver that's wanting to kind of carve their name and the sound here in this side of the industry.
Being in the Kulwicki program for 23, really made us take an even bigger step, to try to do as good as we could do.
This program did a lot for me, not just as a racer, but like I said, a human being.
He impacted mine in so many different ways and so many different times in my life. It was truly what got me through sometimes, and I'll forever be thankful for that.
I really loved the program, I felt like I related to Allen so much.
I'd definitely do it if I was a young driver again.
I mean, the Kulwicki program really kind of showed me the full picture of what being a race car driver is, right? More than just, building a car, being fast. Forever grateful for everything that the Kulwicki program and TR did for me. It opened my eyes that we can do this.
There was a lot of things that I would have never done. I mean, on my own, not being in the program, I wouldn't have probably raced quite as much because that was a push for the program. I wouldn't have done nearly as much, maybe none of the stuff that I did in the community without it. So it helped shape who I was at that time when I was 17 and 18 years old. It just pushes you in the competition aspect, the giving back aspect, which I never understood before the program.
You see this program, continue for 10 years is a huge honor for us, really.
Three glue jockey around the bottom.
Bryce Miller reeling in Casey Johnson for the lead.
Just from the time from being named to the top 5 to now, I've learned so much from this program.
You're the first driver from Georgia since 2017, so there's been an 8-year gap. What does it mean to you to represent Georgia and to kind of fill that gap in?
To learn about Allen's legacy and be a part of this, of the 10th running, is just amazing. Just a great opportunity.
What has been the highlight on the track, and what's been the highlight off the track?
On the track has to be my wild card win, my first race to segment 3. It was just a phenomenal performance by everybody on my crew. Alex did an amazing job getting the car perfect where we needed to be, and when we got to fine-tuning adjustments, we really didn't go off track. Getting to work with the brakes program, the fair program, as well as going to the Cancer Foundation of Athens. All 3 of those were just so cool, and it's kind of hard to pick one over the other, but getting to work with all 3 programs, donate a little bit of money and time, it's just amazing.
As far as the learning process has gone, what's it been like from when you started the year to where you are right now?
I've learned so much from beginning of the year to now, as well as just learning with the Kulwicki Driver Development Program. Everybody, Casey, Ryan, those 2 guys have played such a huge role in me growing as a person off the racetrack as well.
2025 was kind of a whirlwind. A few highs and lots of lows. Took those on the chin when we needed to, and also celebrated our highs when we were able to celebrate those.
What kind of gets you out of bed and motivates you in the racing motorsports world?
The desire to be better than the day before. If you're not working on the car, you're not getting better. If you're not looking at data, you're not getting better. Even if me not going to the gym that day, I'm not getting better.
What's been the biggest high for you, Noah?
Probably our second place finish at Golden Sands, which we really haven't raced at Golden Sands that much. I think that was probably my 4th time being there.
How would you kind of classify how 2025 has gone?
It was a really big teaching moment, honestly. Taking things as they come has been super important. We had a really good finish at Golden Sands, also taking our really hard races to get better from them and learn from our mistakes.
It means a lot, everyone on my crew and just everyone around me takes, tremendous pride in carrying his his legacy along, and his name on the side of the race car, his number. And
to have the support of the program for a second consecutive year. You're the only one that's a finalist for 2 years in a row. I see you're smiling about that. What does it mean to you?
yeah, it's a big deal. I'm super proud to be a part of it, and it's obviously an honor to carry Alan's name on the side of the race car and get to hear all the stories and talk with everyone who's in some way been connected to Alan and the whole program. Probably 3 or 4 years ago, I would have never had the confidence to do this interview. It's changed me in so many ways. It's definitely got me out of my bubbles. It's a lot of work and perseverance at times, but it's all worth it in the end.
I think all of us that are race fans in New England look upon New Hampshire Motor Speedway as our place, right? That's our super speedway. You won there. What was that like for somebody from New England to go to that place and win?
To be able to have as much success there as we have, it's really humbling. You don't want to take it for granted. You want to enjoy every moment you can, because you never know when your last win's going to be.
You know, the sport is so unbelievably humbling, and I think that being a part of the Kulwicki Driver Development Program has really kept my spirits high and my motivation high.
How's being a part of this Kulwicki Driver Development Program changed your outlook on racing, changed your approach to the sport in general?
I've got these people that really believe in me behind me. So getting to honor Alan's legacy and carry his number and name on my car is really special. You know, I have on my dash, if you don't believe, you don't belong. And I think that there's been a few circumstances recently that I've been really frustrated with certain outcomes on races, and being able to look at that, take a deep breath, and just keep believing in myself.
You seem to be really appreciative of the fan experience. You're an outstanding representative for your sponsors, and you really seem to enjoy the experience.
Whether they're young girls that are like, you know, wanting to be race car drivers now, or, you know, even people older than me that are, you know, looking up to me, which is really cool to think that I'm, you know, making such, you know, being such an inspiration for some people. So getting to honor Alan's legacy and carry his number and name on my car is really special.
Been an up and down season. I would describe it as a season of just true grit. I've grown so much as a person and a racer throughout this entire program.
So what has been, you know, part of your experience with this whole thing meant to you, and how has it impacted you as a driver and as a person and as just somebody who loves racing?
Yeah, it's been an absolutely unbelievable experience, and I knew it was my dream to make this program, but it's been way more than I ever thought it would be. The people and the lives we've changed along the ways just goes so far, and it means a lot, and I never knew the impact that my platform of being a race car driver could have, even at this local level.
If you had a chance and had a moment to talk to Alan, what would you pick his brain on? I would love to know more about that.
The cool thing about Alan is he never limited himself. Like, the word never was never in his dictionary. So he believed when people weren't believing him, and that's kind of like what our program is here. We just got to keep on doing it. We're not expected to go to the race and win every single weekend. We're just going to keep on focusing on us and doing what we can do and getting better each week.
I've learned so much from beginning of the year to now.
He's been super helpful of getting my name out there, of who I am and what I stand for.
Put a lot of work into this. To see it's paying off really just means the world.
This program has helped me so much off the track, having a greater purpose to my racing.
Using my platform and the Kulwicki Driver Development Program has pushed us to be that much better.
Kulwicki Driver Development Program for 2025.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 10th anniversary of the Kulwicki Driver Development Program. I have the privilege of serving as the president of the program. Standing here looking at this room, I'm reminded of something very simple. Alan Kulwicki proved you don't have to have the biggest team to make the biggest impact. And that's the foundation for our program. Before Alan even turned a lap in NASCAR, he had everything packed into a trailer. A bed, a welder, tools, pieces of a dream. And on a cold Wisconsin morning, back in 84 or 85, I'm sure somebody can correct me on whatever date it is, but I went with 85 because 7 years later, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself already. before he was even headed south on that cold Wisconsin morning, his pickup truck caught fire. Most people would have said this is a sign to turn back, to not even go to the Carolinas. But Alan didn't. His perseverance carried him forward. And 7 years later, he became the champion of the NASCAR Cup Series, 7 being the opportune number. If you knew Alan or worked beside him, you know something else. Alan didn't believe in luck. He believed you made your own luck. Luck to him wasn't something that just happened to you. Luck was something that you earned through preparation, discipline, and doing the work that no one else would do. Luck was a byproduct of effort. That idea shaped him, and it shapes this program. Tonight we're here to celebrate the same determination, that perseverance, that courage, that refusal to quit that defined Alan Kulwicki. We're here to celebrate these drivers. Not just the people that they are, but who they've become. And the life and legacy of a man who showed us that greatness comes from purpose, not resources. Because at its core, our program is the why behind our program at its core is that our sport needs leaders like our drivers. Needs future champions who are grounded in integrity, character, and work ethic. That's our purpose. That's our driving force. Alan didn't wait for opportunity. He didn't chase perfection. And he didn't think anything would be easy. He built his entire career off something deeper, something that shaped this program. Alan set the standard. The KDDP keeps it alive through excellence, effort, and the discipline to outwork everyone. The discipline to do more with less. This year, our Underbirds lived that standard. This program pushed them, stretched them. It demanded maturity, humility, leadership, and, of course, perseverance. And tonight I want to recognize the 5 remarkable young people who rose to that challenge in no particular order. Taylor Hoare, Derek Gulchaki, Seth Christensen, Noah Eisenhower, and Bryce Miller. Each of them took this opportunity and made the absolute most of it. And when we see these 5 drivers, we think back. We can't help but remember where this all started. 10 years ago, our inaugural champion, Ty Majeski. Proof of what becomes possible when talent, opportunity, and effort collide. So welcome to the 10th anniversary of the Kulwicki Driver Development Program. Welcome to the celebration of grit, excellence, and leadership, and yes, perseverance. You won't just see what these drivers have accomplished tonight, you'll see exactly who they're becoming. And now, to guide us through this incredible night, a voice that has told the story of our sport for decades, your Master of Ceremonies, Doug Rice.
True pleasure to be here at the Speedway Club.
Microphone.
We're off to a roaring start. All right, let's give that a shot again. Welcome to the Speedway Club at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Great to see everybody out on a nice, chilly December night, getting in the Christmas spirit. So thrilled that you're here. We also want to welcome the audience that's watching on the Racing America live stream tonight. Certainly hope that they're having a great evening. I would be remiss if I didn't recognize two other great voices of motor racing that are here. My longtime partner, Mark Garrow, he's hanging out with a bunch of Vermonters over here, so they're talking about whatever folks from Vermont do. And the other Vermonter that's not at that table, Dave Moody, and you'll hear from Dave a little bit later on, longtime voice in the Motor Racing Network. So I want to recognize some great radio folks here. As you said earlier, 10th anniversary of the KDP. And there's an old saying, does the past present the prologue? Does what we do in the past reflect what's going to happen in the future? And I certainly hope in the case of Alan Kulwicki it does. That determination of starting small and eventually becoming the 1992 Cup Series champion, that's heady stuff. That's almost Disney-type, fairyland-type stuff. So we are certainly excited about wrapping up 10 years and getting started on 11. Asked me to tell a couple of Alan Kulwicki stories. I'm not going to pretend that I was close companions with Alan. I knew him like some of the other folks in this room did. Interviewed him on several occasions. The first time I think I ever saw Alan Kulwicki, Father Gruba was holding a mass up in the conference room here, and I walked by, me being a good Methodist, and I'm going, okay, that's different. There's a mass going on here, and Humpy Wheeler, Bobby Allison, and Alan Kulwicki are in there, and I think the three other Catholics that were then taking part in NASCAR also showed up. So, small group, but very, very loyal, and we appreciate Father Gruber for being here today, too. I was working in the public address booth at Atlanta Motor Speedway in 1992 for the now famous Hooters 500. A lot of people think that it may be the most pivotal race in the history of NASCAR. You had all of these folks coming in there, all of them having a chance to win a championship. And here's little old Alan Kulwicki, who Paul Andrews made him stay out and lead one extra lap. And it was that one extra lap and Paul figuring that out and where they finished that day that made Alan Kulwicki the 1992 champion. So part of that championship banner needs to have his name on it. And my other quick Kulwicki memory, I was helping the late Ken Squire do his radio show in Daytona, and we were doing it, I think, at the top of the World Bar at the Hilton there on the main drag in Daytona. And Alan was going to be one of the guests. I think he was scheduled to be the last guest. I'm pacing around because he's not there, he's not there. Then I see him come through the building, and he looks rather dour. Even for Alan, who wasn't the biggest, most animated, smiley guy ever, I thought, oh, this is not good. And he comes up, and we're in commercial break, and he throws this pink piece of paper down in front of me and Squire. And it's a speeding ticket that he got coming to the show for 95 miles an hour on Ocean Boulevard. And I'm thinking, I don't even know how they let you get away from the cop car at 95, but he did, and he goes, I don't know who's paying this, I'm not. So, and I don't know that Kenley reached into his wallet real quick to come up with the money to pay the ticket, but that's one of my quick memories of Alan Kulwicki, and I've always been appreciative of what he was able to accomplish. And when he mentioned Underbird a moment ago, if you're not familiar, he drove Ford Thunderbirds. They were underfunded. They were the underdogs, which kind of ties into the logo that you see. But they marked out the first part, the TH, on the Thunderbird across the front valence. And the first time I saw that, I thought, that's the coolest thing in the world. And it just said Underbird. So in that spirit, that's why we're here tonight with the KDDP. And we want to recognize all of these wonderful people that have comprised some great resumes. And we are going to start off right now by recognizing a young lady from Vermont, Taylor Hoare, South Hero, Vermont. What is a great name for a town, South Hero. Her hometown racetrack is Thunder Road Speedway. She is currently a sophomore at Champlain College Online. She's been racing about 5 years, and she is the first KDDP finalist from the state of Vermont. So all you Vermonters here, you got a little reason to celebrate tonight. And she is the first female finalist since Kate Ray in 2022. Taylor, why don't you come on up to the stage? I know you've got some remarks that you've been setting on to share with the folks here. Taylor Hoare, everybody. Nice round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to be here with you all, and it's an honor to be here myself. In January of 2024, on a whim with some encouragement from 2023 champion Max Cookson, I applied. And somehow I became a semifinalist with only 5 late model starts to my name. Unfortunately and understandably, I didn't get in, and at that moment when I wasn't selected, it didn't discourage me. It lit a fire, it pushed me to grow, to learn, to show up better, and to reapply not for another chance, but for the chance to prove who I could become. Being selected this year felt like validation, but more importantly, it felt like responsibility, because this program asks you to rise to the standard Alan set, and to rise with intention. The season was about so much more than racing. It was a season of becoming, of learning who I am when things get hard, of finding my voice, and of understanding what I truly stand for. There were moments this year when believing in myself felt harder than fighting for a win. Moments when my mind was my toughest competitor. But time and time again, this program brought me back to Alan's words. If you don't believe, you don't belong. I repeated that to myself after every race, every project, every setback, and slowly, piece by piece, that belief came back. Being a part of this program carried a unique kind of pride, because I wasn't just representing myself, I was representing women in motorsports, Vermont, and the American Canadian Tour. Being the first Vermonter ever selected for the Kulwicki Driver Development Program meant more than I ever expected. Vermont may be small, but it's full of determined, hardworking racers with bigger hearts and even bigger dreams. And as a woman in motorsports, this year carried another layer of meaning. I don't often race to be seen as the girl. That's the last thing I want to be seen as. I race to compete. But I'm deeply aware of the little girl in the stands watching. And if my time in this program opened that door even slightly, if I made one girl think, if she can do it, I can, then every challenge I faced this year was worth it. Racing at Thunder Road will humble you faster than anything. And while this was my strongest year on paper, and there is so much to be proud of, I still had lots of unfinished goals, lots of races I wanted to win. But seasons like this are the ones that shape you. They sharpen your toughness, they teach you patience, and they remind you that excellence is something you build, not something you stumble into. One of the places I grew most this year was through community work that defines this program. As a Race to Read driver for the past 4 years, I knew I needed to include them in my 2025 Underbird season even more than ever. I saw the power of showing up for kids, making reading and racing exciting at the same time while providing resources for them to give. Working with the Vermont Food Bank grounded me in the realities that many families face and reminded me how important it is to show up for our community. These experiences made my year richer than any trophy. They reminded me that being a driver is great, but being a driver who makes a difference is better. I want to thank the people that make this journey possible. To my family and friends, thank you for being the foundation of everything I do. You've supported every dream, every late night, every long haul to all the different racetracks. You've seen the highs, the heartbreaks, and the moments when I questioned myself and never let me face any of it alone. I hope you know this journey is just as much yours as it is mine. To my dad, thank you for helping me get into this crazy sport, even after it had been yours for so many years. For years, I was determined to step out of the shadows of Brian Hoare, being his daughter. But I feel like I've finally done that, because now he's called Taylor Hoare's dad. But that still means so much to be Brian Hoare's daughter. To my SRT Motorsports team, you guys are the heartbeat behind everything that happens on and off the racetrack. You all have pushed me to be the best I can be and supported me through every high and low. To my crew chief, Rick, I couldn't ask for a steadier hand or a sharper mind guiding me each week. Your experience, patience, and high expectations have taught me how to think like a racer, prepare like a champion, and carry myself with professionalism. Thank you for the trust you put in me and the standard you hold me to. To my car chief and brother, Justin, thank you for your passion, your work ethic, and the way you pour your heart into every detail on my car. Racing with you by my side is something I'll treasure for the rest of my life. I just don't like actually racing next to you because you're pretty wide to try to pass. And to my sponsors, firstly, East Rise Credit Union, thank you for believing in me, investing in me, and giving me a great friend, Sarah Ricker, who I couldn't go a day without at the racetrack. My family's business, GossCars.com, LaPlante Plumbing and Heating, and the LaPlante family, 1220 Auto and Graphics for always fulfilling my last-minute vinyl needs, and all of my other sponsors. Your support allows me to compete, grow, and represent something bigger than myself, and I'm honored to carry your names on my car. And to my fellow Underbirds, thank you for sharing this journey with me. Sharing this journey has been one of the greatest parts. Whether you knew it or not, you pushed me, you inspired me, and you reminded me why grassroots racing is such a special, irreplaceable community. Lastly, I want to take a moment to thank the people who make this program possible. To the KDDB board, Ryan, my mentor Joe, and Casey, thank you for believing in me, supporting me, and giving me a chance to grow in ways I never could have anticipated. There were many days I wondered why I was chosen, why me, and not someone with 5 more years of racing experience and a shelf full of trophies. But I've come to realize that maybe that doubt was the lesson in itself. You saw something in me I struggled to see in myself, and your belief pushed me to rise to it. As this chapter closes, I am filled with gratitude for the lessons, the experiences, and the chance to carry a legacy that means so much to all of us. I will continue racing with intention, with humility, and the same belief Alan carried throughout his life. And one day, hopefully next year or 5 years from now, I cannot wait for the moment I get to honor Alan the way every Underbird dreams of, with a Polish victory lap. And when that day comes, I hope I make him proud, and I hope to make all of you proud. Thank you, truly, for welcoming me into this Kulwicki family, for helping me grow into a better driver, a better representative, and most importantly, a better person. It has been an absolute honor to carry on Alan Kulwicki's legacy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Taylor. Keep chasing those driving dreams, but if you ever decide to turn in the steering wheel, you might want to grab a microphone. That was well done. Nice job, Taylor. Now comes the paid portion of tonight's program. I've got to take care of our sponsors here, and I've got a whole table full of Pinnacle financial people over here who have threatened to stage a slow walkout if I mess this up. So you're getting the best I can, okay? This is what I got. Pinnacle Financial Partners provides a full range of banking investments, trust, mortgage, and insurance products and services delivered with distinctive service and effective advice to businesses and individuals who want a banking relationship that goes beyond transactions. It was founded in Nashville, Tennessee in 2000 to break the traditional mold and create an award-winning workplace that would attract and retain the best, most experienced financial service professionals. The founders believed that associates who love their job and enjoy work-life balance would naturally give their very best to the clients. The firm is the #1 and fastest growing bank in the Nashville, Murfreesboro, Franklin MSA, according to 2025 deposit data from the FDIC. Pinnacle is #9 on the 2025 list of 100 best companies to work for in the U.S. Its 9th consecutive appearance, and was recognized by American Banker as #4 among America's best banks to work for. Its 13th appearance on the list, and #1 among banks with more than $10 billion in assets in 2025. Nice round of applause for Pinnacle Financial Partners and help making the nights possible. Did I get past the audition okay? All right. Very good. Nice to have you all here tonight, and thanks for your support of the KDDP. Time now to honor our 4th place driver tonight, hailing from Freeport, Illinois. Let's welcome in Noah Eisenhower. Noah's home track is Madison Speedway. That is Madison, Wisconsin. Currently a sophomore at Purdue University, pursuing a motorsports engineering degree. That can work out for you. I know people that have done that. He has become the second ever driver from the state of Illinois to represent the KDDP program. So let's please welcome to the stage Noah Eisenhower. Noah, come on up. By the way, we will do the plaque and trophy presentations at the conclusion tonight back in front of the Step and Repeat banner.
Thank you all so much for being here tonight. Just like Taylor, I applied on a whim, sitting in Physics 2 recitation earlier in the spring, in March. A lot of you at the UNC's Charlotte table over there would probably know that you should probably be paying attention in Physics 2. I, in fact, was not paying attention. So that actually kind of paid off for me to get the phone call by Mr. Ryan Zeck the last full week of March. I got that phone call at 9 in the morning, and I was up studying that same Physics 2 material till probably 3 in the morning the night before. So I got a good morning call from Mr. Ryan, so that was nice to hear. First off, I just want to start off by thanking the most important people that mean the most to me in this world, that allowed me to have the chance to even compete for the Kulwicki Cup this season. Sorry. Both my parents for everything that they have sacrificed throughout this season. They've contributed so much time and effort to my program, and I really could not do this at all without them. Sorry. My grandparents have done so much for me over the years of my 16 years of even being in racing competition, whether that be monetarily or whether that be even simply be baking treats to get to the track. This year, my best friend Cole Trickle started coming with us to the races, and a lot of people make that Cole Trickle joke, man. He means so much to me and has been so helpful to me this year by just learning new things about adjustments and even just handling and doing the very minute things to take the load off my shoulders. I would also like to be thanking all the sponsors that have helped us out this year, whether they be new or old sponsors. A lot of our sponsors have been with us since day one, and a lot of them have came on this year as well to even help us support this Kulwicki program as much as they support my program. Dan's Route 66, Mott's Roofing, BarcoCars.com, Slumberland Furniture, Lusher HVAC, Hooker Harness, and everyone else that supports our program. It would not be possible without all of you. I would also like to thank Mark Finnegan of Vets Roll for allowing us to represent his organization for the second half of this season, as we donated $1 per lap in order to help veterans get back to Washington, D.C. to see all of the monuments. Mark came up and visited us at the National Short Track Championships at the Dells Raceway Park late in September, and we were actually able to put a really good run together for him and allow us to show our gratitude and appreciation towards him for allowing us to represent his organization. Looking back on this season, there was a few things that we were able to take away. One that stands out to us is our second place finish at Golden Sands that I had mentioned earlier in the video that you had seen. It was the last Triple Crown in the last weekend of July that we decided to go up there late in the week. So we had to get our car ready on probably a late Thursday night and get up there on Friday morning to go to race. This was only our fourth race ever at Golden Sands, and I've known since our first practice there back in 2022 that our car would always have potential up there. That night in July, we had a solid practice effort with minimal adjustments. We qualified really well. We redrew the outside of the second row, and we were able to move forward, but I was just unfortunately not able to come away with it. I was heartbroken, to say the least. We had the best car that night, judging by the stats that I looked at for data afterwards, and not being able to come away with that was just super hard for me to take. But the only thing that made me feel better after that was realizing that I compete in one of the hardest regions of short track racing in the entire country, whether that be the Midwest, Southeast, Northeast. I think are the three hardest regions to even compete in short track late model racing. The only thing you can do after that is get back to the shop on Monday night and get ready for the next week, which is the only thing that really made me feel better was just to get ready for the next week and grind it out. Like I had mentioned, this season was a very rough season, maybe one of the hardest out of all 16 seasons that we've been racing. And that really includes the year that I broke my wrist too, so that was really the kicker, is what made it so bad. Notes and setups that we have used for years just were not working, and we kind of were at the point of giving up. but that really is not what we were about. So we had to find new ways to continuously find new solutions to find speed and balance. I mean, that's really what engineering is about, and that's kind of what I'm going for in my degree that I'm going for, is to how to persevere and find solutions to fix problems. This year was a year that really taught me, not only myself, but our entire team, to persevere and do the best that we can with the cards that we were dealt. Making the most of our days when we didn't qualify well and being able to turn a P16 car into a top 10 finish for the day felt like a win some days. From a personal aspect, being able to push through these days at the track has taught me how to persevere in other areas of my life. Most of you know I am currently a junior at Purdue studying motorsports engineering. As you can imagine, the classes can be very difficult and frustrating sometimes. The UNC guys can once again vouch for me on that. Alan, who pursued an engineering degree at UW-Milwaukee, would probably agree that grinding through these harder classes is just about seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, continuing to work hard and fight to the finish. He might also agree that I should not be flying around the country this week and not going to the PRI show this week to get ready for finals next week too. So, lastly, I just want to congratulate all of the other finalists for being selected on a great season of competition. I also want to thank Ryan and the board for believing in me and allowing me to represent this wonderful program. I look forward to crossing paths with all of you down the road. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Noah. I'm slightly jealous. Anybody that can wear a purple bow tie and rock it that good. That's well played. It looks awesome. That is all right. State's Lee College of Engineering is honored, of course, to be a part of the Kulwicki Driver Development Program. Alan Kulwicki has long been a strong inspiration for the college and its Niners. He applied his engineering degree to his dream and became the 1992 NASCAR Winston Cup champion. Alan's commitment to education lives on in UNC Charlotte. Alan Kulwicki Memorial Scholarship would help open doors for students who aspire to beat the odds and follow in Alan's footsteps. The college is proud to be the home of the Alan D. Kulwicki Motorsports Lab, a learning and working remembrance to its namesake. It's one of the largest of its kind in the USA and within just a few miles of most NASCAR Cup teams. The lab may be why more NASCAR drivers, crew chiefs, and engineers earned their degree at UNC Charlotte than anywhere else. Teams understand that Charlotte's Kulwicki Lab provides one of the most hands-on experiences in the nation and one of the strongest inspirations in the business. May today's young talent know their inspiration. The Niners sure do, and we appreciate UNC Charlotte's inspiration and what that they bring to the Kulwicki Driver Development Program. Up next, we saw a little bit of this in the video. I think when Garrow was talking about the guy from the furthest south, and we're talking about Seth Christensen. He hails from Pendergrass, Georgia, Cordell Motor Speedway. Seth is young. He is currently a junior in high school. That's pretty amazing to be in the finalists here, and you're that young. He competed in 18 races in 2025, and the big number, he won 4. He had 5 top 5s and 10 top 10s, and he is the first Georgia in the finalists since 2017 when Cody Haskins pulled that off. Please welcome up to the microphone Seth Christensen. Seth, come on up, please.
All 4 of you guys are amazing drivers and amazing people off the track as well. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and start here. During the Kulwicki Driver Development Program season, I had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of moments that I am very proud of and some that I am not so proud of as well. I feel like part of being in this program is getting to learn, and I feel like all 5 of the finalists, or the 4 other finalists, can attest to that. I feel like I learned so much growing alongside with all of my competitors. This, again, is a program that I have never taken for granted and will always respect and always be honored to be a part of for the rest of my life. When I started this program, I met so many people that, unbeknownst to me, that I had no clue were associated with either AK Racing or Alan's personal life. Getting to hear the stories from Cal, my mentor, was just nothing short of amazing. We got to hear so many different stories from so many people. My spotter, Charlie Brown at the Snowball Derby, was connected to Alan in a personal way as well. So getting to hear so many of the different things through so many different people is, again, it's amazing. I feel honored to be a part of this, and I'm always going to be thankful for those people that got to benefit my life in a personal way and on the track as well. The recognition that both me and the program got, I feel, again, was incredible. I started this program not knowing what to expect. Watching Cody Haskins in 2017 was something that I didn't really know what to think of, and watching him do so well and get to improve his life in so many different ways was something that I wanted to accommodate myself in as well. The social media outreach that I got to learn, the different parts of social media, the different parts of getting to work with charitable organizations was amazing as well. Getting to work with the Breaks program, the FAIR organization, the Food Allergy Resources and Education organization, and so many of the other organizations like the Cancer Foundation of Athens was, again, incredible. And I'm so thankful to be a part of this, to work with those three organizations. Every handshake, every fan, every sponsor, thank you very much. Last, I would like to thank my dad. My dad has done nothing but work for me in my career. I will always remember those days of showing up in the Jeep, the lawnmower trailer, and the oversized go-kart. So from day one, he's been my supporter, my entire family. Ryan for being the backbone of this organization and doing so well, helping me grow as a person. Casey Campbell for helping me grow so much. Never got to meet him in person. I'm sure I will, but again, I'm just so thankful for everybody involved, all the sponsors for this event, all of my personal sponsors. JC Motorsports, Jimmy and Jamie Cox have done nothing but support me this year, and I'm extremely humbled to be a part of their program. Speed U, Kurt Britt, my girlfriend Emma Britt for giving me an opportunity to race for her a couple times this year. Again, I'm extremely humbled to be a part of this, and thank you all very much.
I didn't realize until his closing remarks there, Seth may be the bravest guy in here. He races for his girlfriend. You're all right. I like that style there when you can set up and get through that. I've really been impressed, too, with all of these young people talking about the great charity work they're doing. And it's nice to see people doing that at a very young age. It's something you migrate in when you hit retirement, but it's nice to see people doing that. Up next, we're ready for our tire side chat portion of this, and the guy hosting it is a well-known voice to a lot of you. He was the original voice on Sirius NASCAR Radio. He's the lead turn announcer for the Motor Racing Network and a fellow Salisburian here in North Carolina. Welcome up Dave Moody, and I'll let him introduce who he's going to be chatting with. Dave, it's all yours.
Try it that way. There you go. Thank you, everybody. Good to see everyone here. And our next guest, a guy that I think would probably kill to have the talent and the age of our 5 finalists tonight with the experience that he's accumulated over the years. Say hello to Ryan Newman, everybody. I'll turn it on for you. There you go.
You got more experience doing that than I do.
So yeah, how about that, right? We weren't very far into this program where you just kind of looked across the table at me and said, "Impressive. These kids are impressive."
Yeah, it was. I don't think I was talented enough mentally to give speeches like that at these guys' age. I mean, maybe I could have, but I just don't think so. And I'm really, really impressed with the character and the personality of the ones that we've seen so far.
In terms of Alan Kulwicki, you didn't race against him. Your careers did not overlap in any way. But he did, in a weird sort of way, blaze a trail for you, because he was an engineer that brought that engineering analytical approach to the sport where it hadn't necessarily been before, and you followed very nicely in his footsteps on that.
Yeah, he didn't just blaze a trail, he parted the sea, and there was only a few of us that followed, which is kind of amazing in my opinion, especially with the development of technology and how important that has been in the last, say, 25, 30 years. I think that I don't know, I can go so many different directions when you ask me something like that, because I think back to watching Alan as a fan, as a race car driver, and as a fan, and watching him win the championship, knowing that he was an engineer, but not knowing why he was an engineer. That's the important part, right? Not just the know, but the why. And when I progressed in high school, my parents said, "Where are you going to college?" I said, "I just want to race. That's all I want to do is race." I'm pretty good
That
at
was the
racing.
wrong answer, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't the wrong answer.
Yeah.
It was not the wrong answer. But what it was just the end answer. Because my dad especially, they said, "Well, what if racing doesn't work out for you? Then what are you going to do?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I think it will." But they said, "No, you need to go to college to have something to fall back on, but also help you in racing." So I didn't, let me say it this way, I did not believe them, but I wanted to know. And I wanted to know from the right people. So, and most people don't know this, but I was at a Indy tire test, the first or second Indy tire test for the Cup cars at the Speedway. My mom and I were down at Hoosier Tire picking up tires for my midget, which was rare. We didn't usually go that far. Lakeville was 30 minutes from the house. Indy was a lot farther from the house. So we go down there. We're like, "This sounds like stock cars." So we go over there, go into the racetrack, and literally just drive right in. Like, I think we might have waved at the yellow shirts, but we didn't stop. And we drove right in, got into the garage area, and I found Jeff Gordon. Literally walked into his garage, and I mean, I'm pretty sure I wasn't supposed to be there, but it didn't matter to me because, like most of these guys know, when you have the desire, you'll figure out a way. And I asked Jeff, I said, "Hey," I said, I'm Brian Newman. I said, if you had to do it all over again, would you have gone to college?" And there was no hesitation in Jeff Gordon's voice. He said, "Absolutely." I said, "Well, my second question then is, Jeff," I said, "what would you have studied?" He said, "Just something to do with, aero." He said aero is, a big part of what our cars are right now. I said, that's really all I needed to know. I needed to prove to myself that my parents were right. And then later, I got the opportunity to race at the Hoosier Dome for the big midget race in the Hoosier Dome. Schrader was there, and I didn't know Schrader well enough to know if he was going to give me a straight answer. But he did give me a straight answer, because now I know Schrader, and you really don't know what kind of answer you're going to get out of him. But I went up to Schrader and I asked him, I said, "Schrader," I said, "if you had a chance to do it all over again, would you go to college?" He said, "Absolutely." I said, "Well, what would you study?" Same question. He goes, "Well, I'd figure out, the chassis and the design of the chassis and all that stuff." He said, that's really where these guys are making a lot of gains." I said, "It's okay. That's all I needed to know." So I ended up going to Purdue, and Purdue had a program. So you go to Purdue as a freshman engineer. You spend your first year, then you declare what major you're going to have. I tried mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering wasn't for me. I'm not sure if it was me. I'm not sure if it was the professors. I'm not sure if it was just the timing of them wanting you to go work for the Big Three or someplace in Detroit because you were in Purdue, and it seemed logical to go do your internships throughout the summer and I'm like, no, that's not me. I'm racing. I raced 55 times my freshman year, and I ended up going to interdisciplinary engineering. Interdisciplinary engineering means if you want to design wheels for a living, you want to design light fixtures, you want to design tables and chairs or anything, interdisciplinary engineering will give you they let you declare a plan of study and get it okayed by the board, and then you become whatever specific kind of engineer. So I created a program called chassis engineering. I listened to Strader, and they said, no. They said, we like your classes, but we're going to change the name to vehicle structure engineering. Thought to myself, that sounds kind of cooler. So I ended up getting a bachelor's degree in vehicle structure engineering. I think that answers part of your question, but I got a little long-winded there.
That was good. It was good.
My point is I think that you're right. Alan blazed that trail, and I jumped into that trail and realized that my parents were right, Alan was right, and a lot of these kids here, they're listening and believing the people that are around them because they're right too.
I'm going to try and do a bit of a public service for our finalists because we've already heard from a couple that are in school, one in high school, one in college. How did you manage to race, what'd you say,
55 times, yeah.
55. How did you manage to race 55 times and still be a passable college student?
So I graduated with a 2.01.
Missed it by
which doesn't come up on the diploma for... I'm glad that they don't get it. And I think that I always tell people, I learned two things when I was in college. I learned time management and problem solving. And, you get that from the spectrum of classes that you have, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a better engineer. I think it creates a better person. And if you're in the field of engineering or whatever specific field of engineering, and in general, whether you're a race car driver or crew chief or whatever, time management and problem solving is how you get the job done in a given amount of time with the people around you. That's what they call victory lane. So I think that, I learned that. I feel like I learned that in college. It wasn't math. It wasn't physics. It wasn't my pottery class. It was time management and problems. You didn't know that. I probably shouldn't have said
Pottery?
that. Yeah. It's working with your hands.
Were you good?
Well, yeah. Let me tell you this story.
Oh, boy.
So I told you I graduated with a 2.01.
Yes.
My last two classes I took online through the Catawba County Community College, because they were electives. So I came down here to drive for Penske and didn't have my diploma yet. I was two classes away, and that was their Don Miller, Roger Penske, and my parents said, listen, you're not going to do this unless you get your diploma. You came this far, you're not going to not finish. So I got my diploma through those two electives. But I before I left college, I had to go back to my pottery professor because he gave me a C in the class. And I came up to him. I said, listen, I did everything you asked. Because you didn't like my artwork doesn't mean I deserve a C. You think that I'm average.
Art is subjective.
So I explained to him my mathematical problem, the 1.99 at the time, and he changed my grade. So I learned a little bit about politics.
Right? Well, it's like they say, you know what they call you when you're last in your class, when you're dead last in your class in medical school? Doctor.
Yeah, right. Doesn't matter. You still
they don't put it on the degree.
Right.
Yeah, it's all good. So using that engineering knowledge, I mean, there are parts and pieces, many of them, most of them maybe, safety related on NASCAR Cup Series race cars now that are there because you advocated. First of all, you came up with the way to fix the existing problem, and then you advocated long and hard for it. We've done interviews before where the topic of the day somewhat went by the wayside because Newman was on a crusade to fix a problem before somebody got hurt.
Yeah, I was, in many cases, I was very adamant about some of the design stuff, but I think ultimately I got more credit than I deserved because I became a crash test dummy, like literally because I lived through it, and they said, man, we need to do something. We need to fix this because that bar failed or that weld failed. And I got the credit for that because it was my crash, but ultimately, in cooperation with whether it was Penske or Stewart Haas or whoever, they said, "Man, we really need to think about this. Like that was closer than it should have been, right? I mean, like we've all seen that in many different ways and times. So, I feel like I got over-credited for some of that stuff, but there were several things that I probably didn't get as much credit for. One of the biggest things was the safety belt stuff that we did, and all that was a troubleshooting time because of Earnhardt's crash. So we were way above the curve. When I say we, Matt Borland and everybody at Penske Racing were way above the curve on the seatbelt side of things. But we literally got our hands tied behind our back because of the lawsuits that were going on. So lots of things I feel like that we, again, to your point, I was adamant about because I had a better understanding than most.
They're going to hate me for this, but everybody remembers, I'm sure, the picture of Ryan walking out of the hospital the day after that horrible wreck at Daytona with a little girl about this tall on one side and a little girl about this tall on the other side. They're going to hate me for this, but these two beautiful young ladies down here have grown up from those two tiny little girls, and glad they're here tonight.
Yeah,
So
I'm very fortunate.
Sorry, girls.
Have a look. You got to see the Christmas lights.
Right now they're thinking that might not have been worth it, but
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah.
It's okay. So you're not driving cup cars anymore, but you certainly haven't quit racing. And I'm just going to take a wild guess here because we don't see each other every week like we used to, but it seems like you're having just as much fun as you ever did driving those modifieds.
Yeah, I am. And I choose to drive the modified, just like I worked to drive the cup cars because that's what I wanted to do. But now what I want to do is enjoy racing. It became not as much fun as I wanted it to be or hoped it would be 20 years into doing it. I think you've seen that, and you give a better opinion of it. I'm not exactly sure why, but myself, Dale Jr., Tony Stewart, and several other guys who just, Matt Kenseth, it became too much. Like you just feel like and we started having families and times changed and things changed. But, I think that my decision to do the modified racing and whatever else I can is based off my schedule with my kids and seeing them as much as I can, and my daughter Brooklyn who races. So now she races a Crate 602 modified. That schedule piggybacks off of the Smart modified schedule. So instead of me going to the racetrack in my truck, I go to the racetrack in my truck pulling her trailer so that she literally can race the same nights that I race the modified. So it works out really good. And I think that gives her an ability or an opportunity, I should say, to gain an ability of driving a car on pavement because she's been racing on dirt, and anybody that has sat behind the wheel, not everybody in here has, knows that you can drive off the right front or you can drive off the right rear, and she's learned how to do both, and I think that's important as well. So we race as much as we can, and we try to do as much as we can to have fun.
What's a better day at the racetrack, when you run well or when she runs well? That's Ryan Newman.
Yeah.
Driven.
It in the end, as long as one of us is running well, it gives us both confidence. I think she sees that in me, and I see that in her, and I think that's and it's a challenge to answer that because I had this conversation with a group I was talking to a month or so ago, and I think the racers in this room again will understand it, but as a race car driver, we are programmed because of what we do to be the most selfish people in the world. And we carry our teams, but we are doing it for us. We are the quarterback. We are the pitcher. We are the catcher. We are everything because we hold the steering wheel. And it just makes it that much. It makes us that much more selfish, and I see it and I say it because the best of the best are sometimes the most selfish, and then we commend them for being charitable in so many different ways. And I think that to answer your question, I want us to both do well. That's the obvious, right? But ultimately, if she does better than me, great. We're not racing against each other. That's coming this year, and she doesn't even know it yet. But we will race against each other a couple times this year.
You just got her attention right there.
She better sharpen her pencil.
Final question.
I'm not talking about just her grades at school either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because Dad's not going to give her anything, huh?
No, I give her a lot. So just to be fully transparent, she's got a outlaw cart, which she's going to run an open outlaw cart at Millbridge this year. She's got a wing to micro. We're going to go to the Tulsa Shootout. She's going to run 3 different classes there, 2 different cars. She's got a Crate 602 modified, and then she's got a 305 sprint car that we just bought this year. She's tested it once, and she's going to race next year. So literally, the program that we have set forth, Mackenzie, who does the calendar work, so to speak, she will lay out all the schedules, and if we can, let's just say we go run, we got a conflict, right? We either go run a modified at Hickory one night, or we race a sprint car at Cherokee. Where do you want to go, B? So that's her definition of spoiled, which is a good, because we can look at the radar too and be like, this is a better educated guess. But ultimately, we want to race as much as wherever we can.
Other than that, though, B, you got nothing going on, right?
School.
Just school. Yeah. All right, final question here, and maybe the most important question for certainly the 5 finalists and anybody else in here that races. You mentioned a minute ago that if you're not careful, your passion can become a job, right? And there are a lot of airplanes and a lot of hotel rooms and a lot of extra stuff that were never necessarily part of the deal that become a part of the deal. If you could give the 5 finalists here tonight a little bit of advice about how to keep that fire lit and how to keep their passion instead of just their job and a way to make money, what would you say?
That's an entire speech within itself, and I think I'll try to touch on 2 or 3 or 4 different things depending on how far my mind goes here. First thing is, and several have already talked about it, you're stronger as a team than you are as an individual. You can do amazing things as an individual, but you'll struggle to meet your goals without a good team behind you. That team could be your family, that team could be your friends, team could be your sponsors, and that team should be all of the above. The stronger the team you have, the more capable you're going to be as an individual in the end, in whatever you do. That's probably the first thing. One of the important things to me is really attitude. I don't know why. I think maybe it's ironic, and Father Gruba can probably talk about this a little bit more in depth in a different way. But when I was a kid, I got this little paperweight, and the paperweight is a rock that has an inscription on it, and I have no idea where I got it from or why I got it. But all it says on it is attitude is everything. And that same question you asked is really driven by attitude, because your attitude and the way you carry yourself shows the quantity and the quality of fun that you're having and what you can do to take your game to the next level and enjoy what you're doing. And the biggest challenge of all of that, in my opinion, is our sport in auto racing is so humbling, because no matter what, you're guaranteed to be a loser. On occasion, you'll get to be a winner. And those occasions are amazing and they feel great. But in general, it's not like any other stick and ball sport where you got a 50-50 chance at winning and you can have a winning season. Even if you're 6-5, you got a winning season. That's not going to happen in racing. We talked to some of the guys up here, girls up here as well, you know, won 4 out of 18 races, right? Sounds good. But you got your butt kicked 14 times, right? And that will knock you down. And that attitude is everything. It's how you figure out how to pull yourself back up. And that's one of the hardest challenges of being a self-centered competitor that there is to maintain that level of happiness that keeps you happy 20 years into it. And the last thing I'll say, I guess this is maybe 4, right? And I saw this, and I get made fun of by my posse over here because I'm an old guy and I watch Facebook Reels and I saw one a couple nights ago that kind of hit me. I'm going to try not to lose it when I say this, but it was a Steve Harvey interview, and he said, and everybody that's came up here and gave a speech so far has hit on this, and they hit on it, and they get emotional just like I'm going to get emotional. But the reality of it is, and I'm saying this not to sound sexist, I'm saying it because it's how we're taught to talk, okay? So as a man, your father is the only person in the world that will ever want you to be better than him. Never your friends, never your competitors. And I was teammate to some of the greatest, between Rusty Wallace, Tony Stewart. I've been there. But those guys didn't want me to be better than them. They wanted me to be good and to help them, but they are selfish competitors. They still wanted to beat me. So keep in mind that your dad is the only person that ever wants you to be better than who they are, what they are, or whatever makes them what they are. So my point is, it's not just your dad. It's your mom. It's your family. And you don't have to be a boy. You can be a girl, like we've already seen that. But I think that is a big part of understanding that chain of friends and that teamwork that goes into these young people moving themselves up the ladder to be successful, and at some point, 25 years from now, to be sitting in my seat doing this same interview because they won at Daytona. They won at the Brickyard. You know, they won a lot of polls because, to me, that's pretty cool.
Good advice. Ryan Newman, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, what a great speech. Thank you very much, Ryan, and thank you, Dave, for coming. I appreciate you guys getting up there and telling some great stories. I want to turn our attention. We have a special presentation tonight, something that we don't do, but you know, today's the 10th anniversary to this wonderful program. We'd like to honor several people that have been pillars of this foundation since day one. And I'd like to invite them to the stage as I call their names. Paul Andrews, Father Gruba, Jan Beatty, please come forward. There's one more person that we must honor, someone who cannot be with us tonight, but without whom none of us would be standing here. Jim Roth, or Thumper. Thumper wasn't just involved in this program. Thumper was the inception of it. He was the spark, the person who believed that Alan's legacy could and should be carried forward with a new generation of drivers. The program began as a thought in his mind, shaped by his love for Alan, his respect for the sport, and his belief that young drivers deserved an opportunity that went deeper than just racing. And even though he isn't here tonight, his fingerprints are on every success this program has produced in the last decade, along with these three people. Paul, Father Gruba, Jan, and Thumper are the people who didn't just build this program, they carried Alan's legacy forward with conviction and commitment that never wavered. They have mentored drivers, guided decisions, and grounded us in the values that Alan lived by. Each one of them has had a steady voice, a trusted compass, and a guardian of what this program stands for. They've shaped not only the last decade, but the future of every driver who comes through the KDDP. You're part of the reason this program works. You're part of the reason that Alan's spirit is felt here in this room tonight. And you're the part of the reason that the next decade of our existence and purpose will happen. It is my honor to present each of you a 10-year dedication plaque, a small token of the enormous impact you've had on our drivers, our sport, and Alan's legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me recognize these incredible pillars of our first decade. Well, why don't we just go in front of the stage? Let's just go in front of the stage.
All right, another nice round of applause for these folks that have given so much time and effort to the Kulwicki Driver Development Program. Time for us to move on to meet our second place KDTP driver of the night. Oh, you got Ryan has more to say.
Sorry,
That's all right. No, that's fine.
I think we'd be remiss if we didn't recognize the people that are here tonight that helped Alan reach the mountaintop. You know, so Peter, Jellen over there, Shane. So go ahead and stand up if you guys, when I call your name. Danny, Tom, Scott, Joe, Paul, Cal, Brian, and Bob. We found Bob this year. So glad you guys are here tonight to celebrate this 10th anniversary.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Appreciate all the contributions from each and every one of you in this room. Now let's meet our number 2 driver. His name is Bryce Miller, hails from Columbus, Wisconsin. His home track is Jefferson Speedway. 2022 grad of Wisconsin Green Bay. He majored in business. Competed in 14 races this past season. Had some top 10s and top 5s sprinkled in there. And he becomes the 10th KDDP finalist from the state of Wisconsin. That's the most of any state. By the way, a Wisconsin driver has been in the program every year since the program's inception. That seems only appropriate. Would you please welcome Bryce Miller?
Good evening. I just want to start off by thanking everyone involved in the Kulwicki Driver Development Program. Ryan, Zach, Paul Andrews, Deb Williams, Casey Campbell, and everyone behind the scenes. Your support throughout this year has truly been incredible, and I just can't say thank you enough for all that you've done for us finalists, and it just doesn't go unnoticed, and you've really elevated all our programs. On March 14th, just minutes before they announced the final driver in the Kulwicki Driver Development Program, I got a call from a random North Carolina number that I didn't have in my phone, And I was driving from work because it was the last day, and they're going to announce the last finalist. And I was so nervous, and I got the call. I answered it, and it was Ryan Zach. And he congratulated me on being the final driver to make the program. And it was truly a dream come true. But honestly, the real work just began right after that, as I knew what was kind of in store for me, and we got to work. Racing a super late model has always been my dream since I was a kid. Growing up, watching all the biggest races in the Midwest, and the likes of Dan Fredrickson and Andrew Morrissey and Joe Shear and all those guys that, you know, made such an impact on our short track racing careers. I always knew I wanted to be a part of it. This dream just didn't happen overnight. 11 years ago, my dad sold his late model and all his equipment. Soon after, I told him that I wanted to race. And he basically said, well, that's awesome, but like, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to accomplish that? And so I went to work. Throughout that summer, I did anything and everything I could to save up money. Mowing lawns, doing anything. I mean, with the elderly, they supported me the most, and I was able to raise up enough money to buy my first go-kart for $1,500. And my dad, I was a little short. My dad traded some stuff, and we were able to get to that $1,500 mark, and we got this go-kart. From there, we slowly climbed the ladder, slowly and methodically working through the ranks. It took great sponsors, great people, and a lot of hard work. Fast forward a couple of years, I was kind of racing street stocks at a couple local tracks and just kind of at a dead end with my career, and I wanted to move up. I just didn't really have the opportunity or the funding to do so. And along came Mike Carmichael, who is here tonight, and he offered me a chance to drive in his Midwest Truck Series. We sat down at an Applebee's and wrote up a 2-year contract on a napkin. And the rest is kind of history. We're still together today and collected fast times, wins, and memories I will never forget. Mike opened doors for me that I truly did not know existed. Excuse me. 4 years later, I got a call from my good friend, Griffin McGrath. And Griffin loves to joke around, and he's been a great friend to me. And he told me he wanted to sell me a super late. And I kind of laughed, and I said, like, why? Like, I don't have nearly enough money to race the super late model competitively. And he said, no, I want to sell this to you. And so he's like, someone cut me a break when I was racing and growing up, and I wanted to pass that forward. And I'll be forever grateful for what he did for me. He gave me 2 years to pay it off, and I would not be here without him today. My friends Riley Stenjum and Max Kaler and Levon Vandergeest have been a part of this program. So I truly thought I kind of knew what to expect, you know, and been involved with it and did a couple bando camps along the way. And so I really thought I had a full grasp of what was going on. But nothing could have prepared me for how life-changing this program truly is. This program is not just about racing, it's about people. This year we touched the lives of fans, families, and communities. But never did I expect someone to come along and change mine, and that man is Danny Cameron. The first time we talked, it was a 4-hour phone call. I was driving to see my girlfriend Reagan all the way in Iowa, and Danny talked the entire time. I didn't say a single word. Not a word. And it was only a 3-hour drive, so I spent the other hour sitting in the car outside a restaurant while my girlfriend was inside with her friends talking to Danny. And I finally had to say, Danny, all right, I got to go. And he said, all right, bye. And then he hung up. And, you know, I thought, who is this loud old guy who just never stops talking? And Danny's truly been one of my best friends. Someone I truly could not do this without. He supported me, pushed me, and he was there for everything this year threw at us. This year truly tested us. We blew 2 engines. We started the year with 1 car, 1 engine. We blew 2 engines and destroyed our one and only race car. The biggest lesson that I learned this season was discovering a new level of grit and determination I truly did not know I had. On Labor Day weekend, it was a Jim Sauter Classic at Dells Raceway Park, 200-lap event and a Midwest Truck Series race. And me and both my development driver both got in bad wrecks, completely destroying everything that we had owned. It was all just one big pile of metal, and both front stubs for the front of the chassis were destroyed, all the suspension, and it was just it was one of the toughest days of racing I've been a part of. After that, we completely rebuilt the cars in about less than a month. We drove down to North Carolina, me and my dad, went to Fury Chassis, got it fixed, and we were racing in the truck race, and 2.5 weeks later, and my super late race at Oktoberfest in 3 weeks. Most small teams do not come back from something like that, but we truly just never backed down, found another gear, and just kept moving forward. We kept believing, and every time things got tough, we reminded ourselves of Alan's words. Persevere, persist, and if it doesn't happen, work some more until it does. It's truly hard to believe how far we've come. From a go-kart that we traded some things, and I worked all summer to raise enough money for, it's just hard to believe how far we've actually come. I would not be here without my parents. They have supported me in every way possible. I'd also like to thank my crew who supported me all year long. Colin, Stan, Dave, Tyler, Casey, Pete, Jake, Elliot, and Reagan. Everything I stand for, they stand for as well, as Alan said in his championship speech. Our team will continue to work at being the bus stop every week, which basically means it's one of Danny's coined phrases, preparation meeting opportunity. I will always be proud to wear the Kulwicki colors and represent the Kulwicki Driver Development Program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really enjoy the emotion that we're hearing from these young people tonight. That's really special. It is time now for me to introduce the reigning champion, and he will be for about the next 5 minutes, Ty Fredrickson. Ty, come on up.
Tonight, we gather to celebrate the incredible journey of the Kulwicki Driver Development Program Championship. I want to take a moment to thank the Kulwicki Board for all their dedication and support. Your hard work has made this program possible, and you guys continue to inspire more and more young racers to be in this program. Congratulations to the 5 amazing finalists. You've shown talent, determination, and passion for racing. Each of you has a bright future ahead of you, and I can't wait to see where your journey takes you. As you move forward, remember the lessons you've learned, the friendships you made, and the dreams ignited. The benefits of the KDDP program extend to just beyond competing. The knowledge and connections that you will benefit from in your years. Enjoy the championships, not just in racing, but the spirit of perseverance and determination. Tonight, as the crown gets passed to the new champion, remember that this is more than just a title. It is a responsibility that upholds the value of the Kulwicki legacy. I highly recommend this program to all young race car drivers looking to advance their careers. It is an opportunity to learn and grow. And to every young driver out there, keep pushing, keep believing, and never forget the spirit of Alan Kulwicki. Let's keep racing forwards towards the future. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Thank you very much, Ty. Appreciate that. And as we said, Ty is the champion up until about a minute from now, and we will announce the new one. And if you've been kind of following along, you have probably figured out that our 2025 Kulwicki Driver Development Program champion is Derek Gluchaki. Derek, congratulations. From Dartmouth, Massachusetts, highest level of education. He graduated from high school racing for 5 years, picked up 2 wins, 11 top 10s, the 2024 KDP finalist, runner-up last year, came back this year, and guess what? He finished 1 place better, and he picked up his first ever KDDP win in the state of Massachusetts at Seekonk, and he's been busy. He got married last month, so welcome, Derek, and come on up.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. Standing here tonight, wrapping up my 2nd year in the KDDP program, feels a little bit surreal. It's been a complete honor to be part of something that carries so much history, meaning, and heart. I truly cannot express enough how much this program has changed me, not just as a race car driver, but as a person. 3 years ago, I was 20 years old, with long shaggy hair, shy, not outgoing, and honestly, unsure if I even belonged in a room like this. I applied to the program, made it to the semifinalists, and unfortunately we didn't make it any farther. Casey and TR didn't sugarcoat it. They told me to go work on myself, grow, and come back stronger next year. It was tough to hear, but it was exactly what I needed. I took their advice seriously, I put in the work, and with their guidance, I applied again. Now I can proudly say I've spent 2 years in this program, and those 2 years have brought more growth, success than I ever had expected. I still think it's a little bit crazy that I have Alan Kulwicki's championship-winning crew chief, Paul Andrews, as a contact in my phone that I can call anytime, and just like every other person has a part in this program. These are the people I looked up to long before I ever imagined being part of something like this. The fact they are now part of my story means the world to me. When I first joined this program, I didn't realize how much I would grow. I learned how to start conversations I used to avoid and how to make the connections you need if you want to go far in this sport. I learned that using your platform, no matter how big or small it is, you are able to help others, just as much as anything you're able to do behind the wheel of a race car. I'm forever thankful for everyone who has helped me get to this point. This season was one to remember. We earned 2 wins, multiple top 5 finishes, and we brought home the Triple Crown Championship with the American Canadian Tour. Those moments were incredible, but the road wasn't smooth. 2 races into our season, we wrecked our primary race car, and everything seemingly changed overnight. Standing there at Riverside Speedway, racing for $20,000, getting wrecked on lap 6, watching the field, and just a mangled pile of metal behind my trailer. It was a major setback, but we stayed focused. We got our backup car together, and with no notes, we put a setup in it and started the rest of our season with basically a guess how to set up and see what happens from there. But I'm really proud of what we were able to accomplish with that, coming back after wrecking that car the first race, coming back and winning at Seekonk Speedway. One of the greatest parts of the program is the impact it encourages beyond racing. This year we worked with many charities, including Make-A-Wish, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and Rhode Island Center assisting those in need. Being involved with these organizations changes my perspective. It shows me the difference you can make just by giving your time, your voice, and your effort. And it's something we'll continue to do long after the season. If I can offer one piece of advice for anyone here or anyone watching at home, it's this: apply. Every motivated racer should apply to this program. And if you're sitting here today as one of the underbirds, apply again. Don't let 1 year define you. Trying again was one of the best decisions that I've ever made. This program has made a real difference in my racing career and who I am today as a person. I can't thank the people behind it enough for everything they have done for me over the past 2 years. I want to thank all of my sponsors: Superior Rail and Ironworks, Greyhound Liquors, L&W Painting, Elite Oil Detailing, Trencoder Designs, who is here tonight with me, K-Mad, and Maddie's Creations. We wouldn't be able to do this without you, and your support means everything. To my crew, my spotter Kurt, the Cavallo family, Chad, Kaylee, and the kids, Kyle, my Uncle John, who stays up late nights and whatever it takes to get the car to the racetrack, my mom, our cook Norman, Junior, and Reagan. Thank you guys for every long night, every ounce of effort. We wouldn't have been able to accomplish anything without you. To my wife, thank you for everything you did to me this season. We bought a home and got married all within a month, and you still held everything together while supporting me through all of this. And thank you to our parents for everything they do for us as well. Finally, thank you to everyone involved with the Kulwicki Driver Development Program. Alan Kulwicki's values, discipline, and determination, doing the work the right way, are all things I'll carry with me long after tonight. Being part of this program has been one of the greatest honors of my life. Alan set the example. It's on all of us to honor it with the way we work, the way we race, and the way we show up. Thank you, everyone. It's truly been an honor.
Thank you again for everybody. Congratulations, Derek. You'll be a wonderful champion. Ty, thank you for coming tonight to pass the crown over. He mentioned Shaggy, but that was a little understatement. I told him to emphasize that in his speech, but he kind of breezed through it a little bit. Earlier tonight, I shared the story about when Alan Kulwicki faced a setback big enough to stop most people before they even got started. And the people in this room, you already know exactly what happened next, right? Some of you lived it. Some of you helped make it possible. That moment became the standard, not just for Alan, but what this program stands for. Tonight, we saw young leaders who live up to that standard, choosing growth, discipline, humility, and maturity. But they didn't grow alone. They were shaped by people who poured themselves into this program. Wendy Venturini, who taught them how to speak with confidence, how to represent themselves in this sport with clarity and professionalism. Scott Speed, who showed them that elite performance begins long before the engine fires, and that discipline, fitness, and nutrition fuel the mind as much as the body. John Padillac, who helped them understand that safety is more than equipment. It's awareness, responsibility, and respect. Rodney Childers, who taught them how to communicate like leaders, how to trust that teamwork begins with the driver's voice. And Jason Tracy, who helped them understand themselves and how to speak with intention. In fact, Jason helped them all with their speeches tonight. And we are going to give an award for the best speech. So we'll be trying to figure out who that is next. To each of you, thank you for shaping our drivers and the future leaders of our sport. There is also one person whose impact is felt everywhere, and even when his name isn't on the stage, someone who has truly poured their heart and soul into this program, that person who carries the weight, the work, and the belief that this mission moving forward. Casey Campbell, without you, we wouldn't be able to do big things. Thank you for everything you pour into this program. To our board members, our voters, and our mentors, nearly 30 people strong now who help guide this program, thank you. And to our product sponsors, Heinz Performance, Mechanics Wear, and to all of our Banquet sponsors and partners, thank you for giving these drivers the opportunity to grow and compete. To our interviewers this year, we had special guests that told the voices of each of our drivers. Alan Bestwick, Lance Allen, Mark Garrow, Dave Moody, Jim Trado, Eric Brennan, Dr. Jerry Punch, and Wendy again. Thank you for helping these stories, tell these stories with heart. We all need coaches. And reflecting on the previous 10 years, and we begin this next decade, there's something that I hope we all carry forward. We all need mentors. We all need someone who believes in us before anybody knows our name. Alan didn't have someone clearing the path for him, so he became the example. And now it's our turn to carry that example forward. If you believe in what this program stands for, in hard work, opportunity, and giving young drivers a real shot, then we invite you to stand with us, with our mentors. Your mentorship and our resources, your mentorship, your resources, and your sponsorship don't just support a season. They change the trajectory of someone's life. We've been working very diligently at the board to develop a lot of different things, and we have a lot of big plans. So stay tuned for a lot of big news in 2026 and the next 10 years. But this is your chance for the people at home, the people in this room, to help carry Alan's legacy forward and open the doors for the next generation. If you're willing to help us and join us, we're ready to build something remarkable with you. Like I said, Alan set the standard, and together we will carry it forward. We hope that you will follow our 2026 class as we close out the 2025 season. We'll announce them early next year, and we'll have 5 new Underbirds beginning their journey to become great leaders, not only on the racetrack, but in the community. Thank you all. Good night, and God bless.